Hello, welcome to Side by Sides, where we try to find something out about wine by comparing two or possibly more different things side by side. We have Rachel and Kevin, and I am
Hello.
Mike. Hello, hello,
Hello.
Rachel. Very good. So there's an old joke that it takes a lot of beer to make good wine. And so if you catch your winemaker drinking beer, you can say, ha ha ha, it takes a lot of beer to make good wine. And then, and I have a corollary to that joke that in order to sell wine, it takes a lot of baloney. And this leads us to the topic of the thing that is called terroir, which is a very fancy French thing that people like to talk about in the wine world. And maybe it means something or maybe it doesn't. So we're going to test it a little bit today and I'm going to talk about the definitions for a minute. So you can go to a French dictionary like Larousse, and it will have a definition of terroir. And basically, it's either a bunch of lands that are farmed by the same bunch of peasants, or it's a bunch of different lands that maybe have some particular agricultural characteristic for making wine or beets or whatever it is that it may be. And then you move into wine talk, and sort of the strict definition is terroir is like features of the natural environment that express themselves in wine grapes in a particular way. And so that could be climate, it could be soil composition, it could be like the topography, like hills and valleys and that sort of thing, and other features of the ecosystem, including like the microbiology of the soils and things like that. And then the idea is that particular locations might have a very distinctive terroir that expresses itself in the wine. And then you get to it starts to eat itself, okay? Because everybody wants to have a fancy terroir, and they'll start talking more about the terroir. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know is that the terroir doesn't include the logical geographic things only, but also includes like what humans did to the vines as they were growing, or what humans did to the wine as they were making of it. And it begins to make no sense at all in that respect. It's like one word covering too many things. So in order to explore this concept, we've got two different wines. And as soon as I figure this out, I'm going to share the screen. These are both Sauvignon Blanc, and one of them is from France, and it is Pouilly Fume. And the other one is from California, also Sauvignon Blanc, and this one is called Fumé Blanc. And so Pouilly Fume is a particular place, and it's a place that it is famous for its terroir, if there is such a thing. And so the one bottle of Pouilly Fume, what does that say at top, French-speaking woman? Les champs des plantes. What does that mean?
The country of plants?
Yes, the field of plants. That's really sexy French stuff going on right there, right? Yeah. So you begin to see what I mean about baloney.
Could be any plants.
Right? And so the Fumé Blanc is Sauvignon Blanc from Sonoma County, California. And let's see. So we need, there should be a map here. Oh. Here we go.
Ooh.
So Pouilly is a village, and sort of in the eastern Loire Valley. And so there's a big red circle that's centered on that. There's this tiny little purple thing, and that is the actual territory of Pouilly. And so calling the California wine Fumé is kind of like almost a misnomer. So Pouilly is that town. Fumé generally means smoked. And in this case, it may just mean fogged because it's a foggy place. But it might also be it might also be like the alleged smoky flavor of the wine. And so in that area, they do have particular soil conditions that make sense to talk about. So they have like flint soil, which like serves as a heat sink. It's like kind of northy, but the flint will absorb heat and re-radiate it. So that's kind of legitimate.
Mm.
And then there is also intermixed with the flint, there's like limestone clay soils that are full of marine fossils and this kind of thing. And there's Portlandian limestone, which is again limestone, but it drains. So you have this combination of flint and limestone, with a lot of organic material in it, and more limestone that allows the grapes to drain a lot when it rains, because grapes don't like wet feet. So that all makes sense. And then, so in California, they do Fumé Blanc, which turns out is just a name that was made up by Mondavi in the late 60s or 70s in order to make Sauvignon Blanc sound better than it may have been at that time. And so usually, most of the time, calling it a Fumé Blanc means that it's on oak, but it doesn't always mean that. And so most of the time in a store, you see Fumé Blanc, you say, okay, it's a Sauvignon Blanc and it's done on oak. It's going to be oaky because they're using oak to be somewhat of a substitute for the perception of smokiness that is coming from, allegedly coming from the terroir of the French one. And, but strangely enough, the one we're doing today isn't even on oak. They're calling it Fumé Blanc for some other reason that I don't really understand what it is, but it is specifically done in steel, not on oak. So
I noticed that on the label. Yeah.
Yeah. So with all that prefatory stuff in mind, we should find our glasses of wine and see if we can figure out if there's any sense to this terroir stuff. So,
which one do you want to start with?
Well, I'm going to get them both out, and let me get rid of this. There we go. So
oh wow! Even before I pick them up, I can see.
So for me, this is the Pouilly Fume, and the one I am pushing forward is the Fumé Blanc. It's kind of hard to see on my camera.
You know what's wild? When they're sitting on a white piece of paper next to me, it's so apparent the color difference.
Clear.
Right.
The Dry Creek Fumé Blanc is much paler and like hay colored, whereas the Pouilly is a little more golden or amber colored.
Does that help a little?
Yeah, actually, Rachel, yours is working better. So I'm proposing to try the Pouilly Fume first.
Okay, and that's the more golden one.
Now we have seen it. We've looked at it. Now we're supposed to swirl it and sniff it, right?
Yeah, it smells great.
So this is like fairly aromatic. You can smell that from a long way off, right?
Yeah, it's quite volatile.
And
it's almost kind of a green apple, or maybe a little tropical fruit. There's something like quite citrusy to it.
Yeah, and there's also the minerality, I think, is kind of definite there. I think in the notes they call it smoky gunflint, but I don't know who really.
I don't know what gunflint tastes like. Yeah.
But it is, it's got a little texture to it, though.
So, I mean, that's got a lot of stuff going on. That's, like, very nice, actually. All right, I'm going to go to Fumé Blanc. And I generally like Fumé Blanc. I usually get oaked ones. This is new. So this is also pretty aromatic.
Yeah, it's very different.
It is very different. It smells a lot sweeter.
Yeah, almost like spice.
So it's still got some citrus, but it's got some tropical notes too, and some melon maybe.
Yeah. I feel like this smells smokier than the Pouilly did.
I didn't really check this. It seems to be a little bit more alcoholic to me, but I didn't. So the Pouilly Fume is 12.5%, and this Sauvignon Fumé Blanc is 13.5%, so it's not that different. Yes, so I'm feeling a little bit more raspiness in my throat as it goes down.
The textures are totally different, though.
Yeah.
I feel like the Pouilly was more almost like buttery and a little bit more of a smoothness, but this feels almost heavy in comparison.
Yeah, I like them both, but I definitely like the Pouilly Fume better.
I agree with you. There's you mentioned like a minerality in the Pouilly, and it's like not there at all in the Dry Creek.
Yeah.
Like I don't get
This is
that
like-
same. Now I really can taste it on retrospect in comparison.
Yeah, this is like water. In comparison, it's very smooth, dangerous, easy to drink.
All right, so I guess I'm going to stop complaining about terroir as a concept.
Yeah, because you think there's something to it now.
Well, this is the point of doing a test. I think the Pouilly Fume definitely has something that the Sonoma County does not,
Oh
for
yeah.
whatever reason. And if the French people want to call it terroir, I guess that's the French people's business, right?
You know what? It has a little bit of the flavor of Topo Chico. If you,
What? Okay.
but yes,
So
I
you
was
said-
saying it tastes like Topo Chico. Specifically, it has the same minerality that Topo Chico has, right?
What the hell is Topo
Where-
Chico?
Topo Chico is it's a bottled spring water that's from a spring in I think Mexico, and it has like a very distinct minerality. And I just like got it from the Pouilly that has a very similar, like it's like almost like drinking it out of a stone glass, like or like a
Okay.
ceramic pot. It has like a very like I don't know how else to describe how rocks taste.
It's you get mineral water. You have well water at the winery, right? All of your water tastes like mineral water because
but
it is.
it's processed so you get rid of a lot of the calcium in it. It's like mostly calcium. I don't know if you remember when I lived up in the forest and we had like the brimstone shower.
I do.
Because the well up there not only had calcium, it had sulfur in it.
It's a little sulfur.
So you felt like you were visiting Satan every time you took a shower, right?
Yeah, a little. and for other reasons, but
Yes. All righty. So I guess I'm good on terroir. And then next time we're going to tackle another wine marketing topic, which is called noble varietals. And there's going to be, so officially there's 3 big reds that are noble varietals, and that'll be one episode. And then there's 3 big whites that are so-called noble varietals. That will be another episode. And, while terroir talks about the particular characteristics that are placed upon the wine by the place where it's coming from, the concept of noble varietals is if it's a noble varietal, that means it keeps its characteristics across different places that you planted.
Oh, I see.
Now, I don't think those 2 things are necessarily mutually exclusive.
sure.
But that will be the next experiment and our next episode when we get
Cool.
there. So thanks for joining us on this little adventure, and we will see you all next time. Cheers.